Hey everybody, Brock Frady here, helping you enjoy your ride. In today's video, we're going to take an in-depth look at this 2022 Hyundai Santa Cruz. This is the first offering of a truck from Hyundai. In fact, this is the first time Hyundai has ever put a bed on a vehicle, and we're going to go over all of that. We're going to look at the inside, the outside. We're going to take a look at all the features. We're going to end up in the driver's seat where we'll look at all the buttons and features. Then we'll take it for a drive. But before we get started, I'd like to say a huge thank you to Impex Auto Sales in Greensboro, North Carolina for the opportunity to film this Hyundai Santa Cruz. I'll be sure to leave all of Impex Auto Sales contact information, including their website, in the description box below. Now, I love the fact that this thing has turbo because, as you know, if you've seen any of my videos on vehicles that do have turbos that I've reviewed, I'm a huge fan. I love the fact that this thing is a 4-cylinder turbocharged truck with 280 horsepower. That's not huge horsepower, but that's still, it's plenty enough. Especially whenever you get into this thing, which we'll get there in just a second, it feels really big inside. So it feels like a big vehicle with plenty of horsepower. It's all you need. And I love it. To open the tailgate, all you do is press a button right here on the key fob. You press and hold, and it's a soft open. That's really nice. You also have a really cool truck bed topper right here. It says Hyundai. All you do is push the handle forward, and I like that because it's kind of natural. You just push the handle and you let it go, and there it is. You also have a handy strap right here so that whenever you need to close this, all you do is pull it back, and it'll kind of hold itself in place so that whenever you want to lock it back, boom, there it is. It's going to protect all of your stuff in here from weather and from thievery. Really cool. I like that feature. Another cool bonus that you have here in the back of the bed is going to be a little box. All you do to access that is turn these, the box comes open, and then you have another little surprise. An outlet, just like an outlet in your house that you can plug things into. Also, this is weatherproof because this little door here is lined so that you can put things in there, say charge something, you can put it in there and it'll be protected from the weather. Another cool little bonus here, it says open from right here. You can just open that, pull it up, and then boom, extra storage. I love hidden extra storage. This is also lined as well. You can see that liner. So this is going to be weatherproof also. Another bonus about this, though, is going to be the fact that you have a drain plug inside of this so that you can make it a cooler. This goes actually to the outside of the vehicle. I really like the way Hyundai has designed the taillights in this thing. This thing goes way into the bed, basically halfway into the bed, and then all the way out. That makes it so it's super visible at night. What may be the signature of the Santa Cruz is this front grille with the integrated lights into it. If you've seen one of these out on the road, then you have done a double take. If you've seen it at night, especially from the front, you have a light right here, you have a light here, of course your signal here, a light here. It's almost hard to determine where the regular headlights are. We're gonna come back around to the back of the Santa Cruz because here's something I totally forgot to mention, but that really stood out to me. There are triangles everywhere, starting here, all the way, up to right there. The whole thing of triangles here, triangles here. By the way, you've got a little bed step right here. Your triangle motif continues here. You have triangles over these sweet looking wheel arches. You even have them on the tires. Continues here over this wheel arch. But here's what's ironic is that the triangle motif does not extend to the front end. I don't understand that, but hey, it is what it is. Let's take a look at the heart of the beast. Now, the engine setup on all Santa Cruz models is going to be a 4-cylinder. That's the base that it starts with. This one is the SEL version, which gives you a 2.5-liter turbocharged, what Hyundai calls Smart Stream 2.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. It has an 8-speed dual clutch transmission with Shiftronic. That's just your paddle shifters. I'm standing right at the roof of the Hyundai. I'm on the side step thing here. And this is a place where you probably won't be much if you have one of these, because nobody really looks at the roof very much. But what I wanted to point out is how cool the roof rails are. And it appears that these are Hyundai factory roof rails, but they look like they're just like one clean piece. I really like the way that looks, and it actually makes it look a little bit more trucky, a little bit more beefy. These things feel super solid. I would imagine that if you had one of these, that you would probably be using that a fair amount if you're at the outdoorsy type. There's your sunroof there. But I really like, I don't know why I'm so attracted to these roof rails, but I think they look pretty great. The back seat of the Santa Cruz, not much to say, not really much to it. It's pretty Spartan back here, honestly. There are no buttons, there's nothing back here. There's like some kind of cutout right here that's kind of odd. I don't know why that's there, but there's nothing here. There are no vents. There is a power door or a power window switch, and that's literally it. There is good headroom. I really like the fact that you can put a 6-foot+ person back here, no problem, but you're only going to get 2 back here comfortably, and that's pretty much the case with all trucks in this segment because it's small. It's a small cabin, honestly. You could get 3 kids back here decently comfortably. 2 adults are going to be fairly comfortable. You've got a sliding window right there. It's not power. In other trucks in this segment, that is power at the higher levels. The material on the seats is rugged. It feels like it's gonna last. In saying that though, it feels a little bit tough, a little bit hard, but I guess it's just built kind of for toughness. There's no center console or cup holders or anything. The headrest goes up. That's the back seat. It's decently roomy. It's to be expected for a vehicle of this size. My knees are touching the driver's seat, but that's to be expected when you've got a tall person up front, tall person in the back. That's not a big deal. Side airbags, but again, that's about it. Now, don't be too disparaged about the back seat functionality or lack thereof. It does have a cool little trick right here. There's a tab that you can pull and lift the seat bottom up, but there's a jack right there. I would love to see that as a functional piece of storage. It does go all the way across, so you do have a little bit of a deep well storage here under the driver's side portion of this, but it's only half of the rear. So it would be great if Hyundai could figure out a way to move this maybe into the back and make this so that you have storage underneath the seat for all-weather storage. Taking a look right here in between the driver's seat and the passenger seat, you do have 3-way heated seats right there, passenger and driver. Automatic hold, that's brake hold, so you can actually let your foot off the brake at a stoplight when that is active. Locking center differential, downhill assist control. When you press this P, that gives you a view of the exterior cameras. Parking brake, and drive mode select. Drive mode, you have normal, sport, smart, and snow. You can shift that at any speed and it will change the driving dynamics of the vehicle, mainly throttle mapping and as far as like throttle response is concerned. Then your gear shifter is right here, of course, and you just squeeze that, go into reverse. That shows you your backup camera. Neutral, drive. Then at any speed, you can flip this over and gear sequentially. So that is going to be your dual clutch transmission right there. Couple of cup holders here. Notice that you also have piano black trim. This is all over the interior. Now moving up here to a storage and charging facility in front of your gear shifter. Right here is a Qi wireless charger, so you can place your cell phone here and it will charge it wirelessly. USB, cigarette lighter adapter charging here, lightning charging there for your devices, a little bit of storage right there. Your climate controls are here, driver's side, passenger side, sync and recirculate right there. You have automatic, so that will automatically set the cabin temperature to the temperature that is displayed there. All system off. Front defrost, AC, manual fan control, fan direction, diffuse, that's nice. And then rear defrost there. As you can see, it has wireless Apple CarPlay. I really love that. Thank you, Hyundai, for making the Apple CarPlay wireless to where you do not have to plug it in. Great feature. You can just press map. You can then press I have it hooked to Pandora wirelessly, and then there's your call stuff right there, and then back to your regular screen. You can go here and see all the different things that you have. As you can also see, it's really nice how the screen responds to touch. It's super responsive, sensitive, and it does it quickly. It does it well. The other thing that I like is the fact that the screen area right here is like this matte finish, so it leaves no fingerprint residue. So then I can go out of Apple CarPlay and I can go here to the regular system radio, and you can see here that you have FM, AM, and XM all on one stack of memorized buttons. And so then you can go band, AM, FM, or satellite. So that's going to be your radio function. Then I can go home, and you can see here I have the radio function here on the left side, Apple CarPlay or map here with all menus. Well, that's nice. There we go. And you can see how the sensitivity, what I was talking about, how that works. So there you go. You have all menus right there. Going back home, I have phone, I have media, and I have setup. I recommend spending some time in setup so you can get familiar with how the system works and how you can take advantage of how it works. Guidance, this is going to be as far as lowering all other audio volumes when a driving safety system sounds a warning. The other thing about this is, and I don't know if this is configurable or not, but when you have the radio going and you put it in reverse and the camera comes up, the sound almost mutes. It goes way down. I'm actually a fan of that. That's actually a pretty cool feature. You know how guys are. We got to have it quiet in order to know where we're going. So I don't know if that's a guy thing or not. That's just me though. System volumes, subsystem volumes, and that's going to be voice prompts and ringtone for your phone if it rings, or key beeps. That's actually a nice feature. Connected devices, speed dependent volume control is normal. So as you speed up, if it's like strong, as you speed up, the volume of the audio is going to increase and vice versa. Radio noise. So that's kind of a brief overview of what setup is. The only thing that I don't really like about the way this is designed is you can see that piano black trim right there and all right here. That shows fingerprints like nobody's business and dust and everything. I would actually rather these be physical buttons, and I do not like the way the volume is right here, because you have to take your finger and put it like that and move it up and down, and that is just not natural at all for volume. You do have volume control over here on the left side of the steering wheel that we'll take a look at in a second, but please, Hyundai, get rid of that. That is not good. Also for tune, it's just not a natural way to do it. Plus, whenever you're trying to adjust the volume right here, you can inadvertently hit this button, or you can inadvertently hit setup, and it's just not a good configuration. Now let's take a look at the steering wheel controls, also the multi-information display that you have right here. Number one, this is completely digital, and it is so cool. I really like it. We saw just a second ago drive modes where you have sport and normal and snow and smart and all those. This is where that appears. Look at that. That is just the coolest thing. There's normal, so there's sport, smart, snow, and really there's no differentiation between them. Actually, yeah, so there's smart, snow, normal, all those are the same. Then there's sport. I really like sport. I wish you could have sport on the display look like that without having it in sport mode all the time, because sport mode, by the nature of it, is going to hold higher gear revs longer, and unless you're really wanting to push it, it doesn't make sense to drive sport to me. But I really love the way that looks. It's just a really neat look. So over here on the left side of the steering wheel, you have voice commands, you have mode, that's going to be for audio, audio up and down, and then track skip. This is a little bit confusing because most manufacturers have their track skip left and right. So, you know, left and right. And so this is up and down. So if you want to skip a track, I think you have to push it down to move forward to skip a track, and you have to move up to go back on the track. That just does not make sense. Phone and then favorites are all going to be right here. And this is actually how you can customize a couple of settings right here. And then right here is, it looks like multi-pages. So when you press that is what changes the driver info. And then at that point, you're going to use this OK toggle right here on the right side of the steering wheel. So this is going to be radar cruise control here, and then this is how you speed up and speed down for your radar cruise control. And then this is going to be lane mitigation. This keeps you inside of your lane. And then this is going to be pause or go back for audio. Kind of a weird setup, because it's interesting because you have audio in this group where it's black, but then you have audio down here on the far right in your driving modes. So that's that. Then you have paddle shifters here. You can downshift on the left side, upshift on the right side, and that's always good. And you have the dual clutch transmission, which is nice. Taking a quick look here at the multi-information display that's right in front of you. On the left side, you have your speedometer, miles per hour. On the right side, you have your tachometer, rotations per minute of the engine. Then you have below that, you have your temperature. Then on the far left of that, you have your fuel gauge with your miles per gallon instant right there in the middle at the very bottom beside temperature. You can press the pages icon on the steering wheel on the right side, and then you can go OK up and down. And so you have driver assistance features. I'm pressing that OK in. Warning timing, warning volume, driver attention warning. So that will let you know if you are swerving too much, and it will alert you to tell you to take a break. That's nice. Forward safety. And so these are all going to be the things that you are going to need to do when you first get one of these. You need to adjust these based on how you like it to operate so that you can maximize the safety potential of the Santa Cruz. This is nice. So rear cross traffic safety, I love that feature that beeps if someone's coming from your left or right. That's really nice. We're going to go back. Cluster right here in the middle allows you to customize what the cluster looks like or how things work. I really like that. That's pretty nice. Icy road warning. That's pretty great. I guess it goes based on the temperature of the outside. How cool is that? Then here are your lights, illumination, 1 touch turn signal, 3 flashes, or 5 or 7. Goodness. So that's one of the things that we just looked at. That's a pretty great feature there. Headlight delay. Do you want it to delay so you, whenever you get out of the Santa Cruz and you're going inside your house, your headlights will stay on? I really recommend making that active. High beam assist. That makes it so that they cut on automatically when no one's around, the high beams that is. Doors. So this is where you're going to be able to go to user settings, to where that little wheel icon is at the top, and basically configure the Santa Cruz to exactly the way you want it to be. It's a great setup. I really like that. Going back to the pages icon, there's your drive, so that lets you know what wheels are driving the vehicle, where power is going. That is going to be for like radar cruise control and also for lane mitigation. Pressing it again, then this is going to be your fuel economy estimates and things that you're doing as far as trip, miles, average miles per gallon. Digital speedometer, really nice. Now the first thing that strikes me about the inside of the Hyundai Santa Cruz is the fact that the cabin feels really big. I've got my seat down, which in every vehicle that I drive, I usually get in and I put the seat down as far as it will go. I pull it back some and I adjust the steering wheel, all that. But once I'm comfortable in this thing, I feel like I've got a ton of headroom. The cabin is like really big and open. Windshield, nice and huge. Now, there is a pretty massive blind spot over right here, but that blind spots really aren't that big of a deal now because of all the backup cameras and the sensors and the beepers and the safety systems that are present in cars today. But there still is a pretty big blind spot, and I think it has due in large part to the way the exterior of the vehicle kind of slopes up behind the rear passenger doors. But in any event, the cabin feels really big, really roomy. It's a nice experience. The overall drive impression that I have, it's got a good feel. The pedal is responsive, the accelerator is responsive. The safety system, as far as the lane mitigation, keeping you in your lane, it works well. It's a little bit touchy, but it does pretty good. Cabin noise is minimal, especially from the engine. I'm really surprised at how the fact that this is a turbocharged 4-cylinder, and a lot of turbocharged 4-cylinder engines are tinny sounding, and they sound like they're really, really struggling. It's almost like they're the little engine that could. Not the case in the Hyundai Santa Cruz. It feels really good. In fact, quite a bit of turbo lag though. Whenever I pressed the gas just now and it really accelerated all the way up to like 6,000 RPM, it was a solid 2 seconds before you felt the turbo kick in. Quite a bit of turbo lag. Now I'm going to adjust it down to sport, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm at 2,000 RPM now, all the way to the floor. Okay, there it is. That's money right there. That's the difference. Sport mode, and you hear it, it's holding that gear way up high, but that's what it's designed to do. So the turbo lag is really decreased when you have it in sport mode. It kicks in a whole lot faster. That's good to know. Another thing that is interesting about the Hyundai Santa Cruz is that when you turn on the lane mitigation system, it's on right now, and you basically can let the car steer you for a long time. And I mean, it's almost like it's self-driving light. In a Toyota, for example, when you activate the lane mitigation system, lane keep assist, it senses that you're not touching the wheel. It will only give you a few seconds. The same with Ford. Ford is a little bit longer. Hyundai, they're like, we'll let you go for a while. I've had it on for 45 seconds and still. Now my hand is right here at the wheel. In fact, my hand is actually touching the wheel, but not enough that the system can sense it, and it still is totally fine with it. I am absolutely amazed. When I was test driving this and kind of looking over all the features earlier, and I first activated the lane mitigation system and let it take over, and I was like, holy cow, now keep hands on steering wheel. So there you go. It just now came up. I touched the wheel to let it know that I was still driving the vehicle, but now my hand is technically off. Again, my hand is right here on the wheel, so don't worry. But it just lets you go forever, and I really like that. That is a great feature. So the lane keeping, the lane mitigation, whatever you want to call it, in the Hyundai Santa Cruz is very, very good. I'm really impressed with it. Now at highway speeds, she's a beaut. No problem at all. Throttle response is really nice, and it's great. You can kind of feel that it's always ready to go when you touch the accelerator. As far as the mirrors are concerned, nice and easy. I like the shape of them. They're kind of like a geometric pattern. That's a nice feel. That's a nice fit. Here is the interesting thing about the way Hyundai designs their cabins, and from other vehicles that I have reviewed in the past, even this one, Hyundai does not put that much effort, it seems, into making the cabin luxurious feeling. This is a $40,000 plus vehicle, but all you see in here that would represent any type of luxurious material is this piano black trim, of which there is a ton, and it's shiny, and it's just to me, it's not a good fit for a vehicle that's at this price point. I would love to see even some simulated wood grain, something to that effect. And I'm sure you can get some type of leather material or some type of whatever Tex material they're making nowadays, but it just does not have a luxurious, there are no luxurious touch points at all in this cabin. And unfortunately, it takes away from what could be a really nice looking, feeling cabin. At 70 miles an hour, very, very little road noise, very little wind noise, which I'm actually kind of surprised as far as the road noise is concerned, because these are pretty decently sized tires on this thing. They're not quite full-size truck tires, but it's a bigger tire than a sedan, and it's got very little road noise. So right now, my hands are technically off the wheel, although I've got my hands right here at the wheel. But I was curious because this thing was just going and going and going and going and not telling me to put my hands back on the wheel. And I don't know why Hyundai has designed it to where you can keep your hands off the wheel for so long. But I take that back. You're not technically supposed to take your hands off the wheel, and my hands are actually touching the wheel. My fingertips are. But not enough so that the system can tell that my hands are on the wheel. And so far I've been going 1 mile, and it's keeping me in the lane. I've been going around a couple of curves here on the interstate. I'm going 65. I'm at 1.5 miles right now. It's able to see the lanes in the road even when the markings are not very clear. I don't know how Hyundai's system is so good, where Toyota, Ford, and other manufacturers that I have tested this system, the lane mitigation or lane keep assist or whatever you want to call it, but other manufacturers will only let you go a couple of seconds before it warns you to put your hands back on the wheel. I'm at 2 miles, 2.1, and it's not said a thing to me. And it's staying right dead center in the middle of the lane, and I'm going around a little bit of a curve right now, and it's not saying a word. I don't understand this, but it's almost like it's giving you a preview of when Hyundai comes out with a self-driving car or something. It's like, yeah, we're confident in our system, but I'm at 2.7 miles right now, and it is not telling me to touch the wheel at all. I'm getting to the point where I'm going to actually have to turn, but I don't get this. This is just absolutely insane. I'm going 60 miles an hour. Not a beep, not a word. I'm going to go a little bit further, but I'm at 3.1 miles, and it has not said anything. This is absolutely crazy. It's a 3.3. I'm about to come up to a stop. There it is. So at 3.5 miles, hands are on the wheel. At 3.5 miles, it said something. Now, I don't know if that distance is going to change based on how fast you're going or based how many turns you go into. You know, I've never seen anything like that in a vehicle that technically does not have a self-driving capability to go that long without telling you to put your hands back on the wheel. Okay, everybody, that's going to do it for our look at the 2022 Hyundai Santa Cruz. I would love to hear your feedback on what you think about this vehicle. Thank you so much for watching, and I would like to say again a huge thank you to Impex Auto Sales in Greensboro, North Carolina for the opportunity to film this Santa Cruz. Be sure to check them out on the worldwide internet machine. But remember, the most important thing of all, have a wonderful day, everybody.